All right, topic B, basic percent problems. Question number 1 says the price of an encyclopedia is $250. How much would you pay for the encyclopedia after 30% off and an additional 8.5% tax? I'm going to show you guys two different ways to do this problem. I suggest that you get both ways down so that way you can decide which one you like better and you can look back at both methods and use the one that you prefer, okay? So first of all, if you go to a store and you buy something, the cashier rings it up at full price. Then the next thing that they would do is figure out how much you would pay after the discount. But before I can figure out how much I would pay after the discount, I have to figure out how much money I save. So if it's 30% off, I'm going to set up a proportion to figure out what 30% of $250 is. So step 1 is to figure out what is 30% of $250. Well, I know that 30% is 30 out of 100, right? And $250 is the total amount, so that's the 100%. So I'm going to call this X right here. So when I go through and I cross multiply and I solve, I end up getting 100X equals 7,500, 7,500. Divide both sides by 100, I end up getting $75. But that's not how much money you pay, that's how much money is saved. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2 requires me to figure out how much money I'm paying. Well, if it's originally $250 and I save $75, I'm going to subtract 75, so I end up getting $175. So I know I'm going to have to pay $175 before tax. But I have to pay tax, which is 8.5%. So that's my third step. Figure out what 8.5% of the amount that I'm paying is. Not the original price, the amount that I'm actually paying. So what I would do is figure out what 8.5 out of 100 is when it's equal to X over 175, because this again is the total right here. So you can go through and cross multiply and you end up getting 100X equals, let's go ahead and multiply those numbers together. So I'm going to open up a calculator document and I'm going to multiply 175 by 8.5 and I end up getting 1,487.5. Okay? Divide by 100, I get 14.875. But we're talking about money, so it doesn't make sense to have this 5 right here. I can't go out to the thousandths place, so I round to the nearest hundredth, so I end up getting $14.88. But obviously, you're not going to pay $14.88 for an encyclopedia that was originally $250. What you need to figure out now is what's the final cost. Well, I know that after the discount, I have to pay $175. And then I have to pay an additional $14.88 to the government. So altogether, my final answer is $189.88. Okay? That's one method. Now, the other method, keep these numbers in mind because these numbers are going to help you out to see the connection between the other method. The other method, you know that you are paying 70% or 30% off. So generally, percent is out of 100, right? So if I'm going to save 30%, that means that I'm going to be paying 70% of the cost, right? So I also know that 70%, let's write this down. If I save 30%, that means that you pay 70%, which is 0.7 as a decimal. And the reason why you figured out that you pay 70% is because it's 100 minus 30. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 0.7 and I'm just going to multiply the cost by 0.7. So that's where I get $175. So this is how much I have to pay before tax, just like we did before. Okay? And then you need to figure out the next piece, which is the tax piece, right? So the tax piece, you have to pay the full amount plus 8.5%. Okay? Well, the full amount is 100%, right? and you have another 8.5%, which is 108.5%. But as a decimal, that's 1.085. So all I have to do is take my amount that I have here, which is $175 before tax, and multiply that by 1.0875, right? Sorry, 1.085, excuse me. I should not have said 75. So 1.085, plug that into your calculator. 175 times 1.085, and you end up getting 189.875. Round that to the nearest cent, and you get the answer that you want, which is $189.88. So either way, you'll get the right answer. This way is shorter, but you have to understand when you can use it and when you can't use it. The other way is nice because whenever you set up a proportion, it's always straightforward, and it helps you figure out where the numbers go, even if the situations look different. Now, here's the thing that I want you to understand. Before, when we did the original method, we figured out that we would save $75, and we figured that out by figuring out what 30% of $175 was. So, and then we subtracted. But here we just did our subtraction first. We subtracted 30 from 100 first, and we just used that percentage to figure out what the answer was, okay? And same thing with this one right here. We figured out what 8.5% was first, which was $14.88, and then we added it on. But here we added first the 100%, and then we figured out what the percentage was. Either way, please use the method that makes the most sense to you. Now, in question number 2, I strongly suggest that you use a proportion for this. This question is kind of tricky. It says, what is the original price of an iPod that costs $169.60 after a 20% discount? So in this problem, this is the sales price. This is how much you're going to pay after you have the sale. So the question is, what was the original price? That's what I want to figure out. Well, if you have a 20% discount, that means that you paid 80%. Okay, so when I set up my proportion, I know it's 80% out of 100. Now, this is not the full price, the $169.60. It's the 80%. It's what you actually paid. So this is equivalent to the 80%. So this should go on top. And then you don't know what the final price is. So then when you go through and you do your cost multiplication, you end up getting 80x equals 16,960. Divide everything by 80, you end up getting x equals $212. So the original price was $212.